Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Freedom Summit. Oh my goodness, I am so happy that all you are here for yet another day to release and to be free, to live the life of your dreams. As you know, as we've been diving into these topics, I have brought you some amazing experts that have come and shared their heart, shared their soul, and truly have helped us turn our trials into treasures. That is the goal. The goal of this summit is for us to learn to live the life of our dreams and to be truly free. That's what we all want. That's what this is about. And my next guest, OMG, does my heart just love her. She is absolutely amazing. So we met nearly a year ago. I was actually featured on a call very similar to this, and right away our spirits just resonated. And as I say to my audience all the time, I believe that you attract who you are. So the only reason why she felt inclined to reach out to me is because she embodies everything that I believe: vulnerability, transformation, transparency, honesty, servant. When I tell you she is a servant leader, which is why I love her so much. And when I reached out to her, it was an automatic yes. And I love her for that. She has a story that I have chills just thinking about her story and how she's really transformed her life, releasing over 50 pounds, going from formerly being a binger and purger, having, a very dysfunctional relationship with her weight and food, and she has transformed her life. She has gone from being a nutrition coach to a weight loss and nutrition therapist to a transformational coach, because she understands that it is a 360 experience. It's about all of it in order for us to truly live the life that God created us to live and to be free. Help me in welcoming my sister in this journey, Lauren. Woo!
Hey! Thank you so much, everybody. It has been an amazing journey. It is so interesting how me and Tamika actually hooked up, because typically it's not like me to just reach out for, out of a random comment that I just saw. And I said, there's just something about this woman. It was something the way you commented, Tamika, that really drew something out of me to say, I want to reach out to her. I want to know more about this woman. And just the way you did the intro, I mean, we resonate. I mean, that was vibrational, energetic at a cellular level, it's just cosmic. It was cosmic. So thank you so much for getting me all teared up, just hearing about the intro. And, a lot of it is we have busy lives. So we forget the need to connect. We're doing social media, we're running our businesses, and sometimes that need just to connect and see who is on the same wavelength as us, even if it's in the business, because like you say, your vibe will attract your tribe, and not only your tribe, but you make this community of connections with people where you never know, you'll be featured one day, and we inspire each other. And I think that's what's so beautiful about the community that you're creating and what you're offering with this summit as well. So thank you so much for that said. And over a year ago, there is so much that has happened in the transformation, and I'm just so honored and blessed, to be here.
Yes. I know that when we first hooked up or we first met, it was definitely, I too have released more weight. So thank you for the material that you have sent me, and even just our call that we had over a year ago, it really inspired me, because I understand that in this journey, this work, I don't call myself just a coach. I truly believe that this is my ministry. And God has blessed me to have sacred souls, to guide them through this transformation, and to truly be free. So with that said, the work that you do is so phenomenal. Tell us a little bit more about how you transition from health coach to nutrition therapist to now transformational coach. Tell us more about that.
It is transformational. Just to pick up a little bit of what you talked about, when we talk about needing the balance and, you know, spiritual, even, you know, going back, I'm very faith-based, and some people aren't, some people are, you know, but what I do notice is that this type of work and working with the body, you can't be at optimal service or be a servant optimal at your 100% level if your body is deficient in emotional support or nutritional support and really needing this transformation. So for me, and being that servant that you talked about, I think it was so fitting to hear it that way, because in order for us to be able to serve others, we have to be at our best. Yes. So in order to rise in our business, in order to rise in our faith, in order to rise with our connections and teaching our children and educating others, and be able to learn and process this information and filter it in a way that we see fit, you know, to make it really our own, it's so important that we have those nutritional pieces, those health pieces, that transformational level, like you said, that 360, because it's all really integrated. And that's what holistic health coaching is really about, is addressing the body as a whole, to where you have the spirituality, the emotional pieces, the, you know, physical even, and the spiritual are just all intertwined, you know, with us being really this energetic beings. We're energy. That's science. You know, whether you believe in something else, you can't deny the laws, right, of physics and energy. That's something that's undeniable. And we go on ahead, and when we're transparent, right, in that way, and being raw and being authentic, you can feel that energy. That's why we get chills, right? So who's to say that food and nutrition doesn't have that same energy? Right? How does that energy affect our body if that food is processed and isn't from its, you know, original form, and is heavily processed? It loses that energy that really resonates with our cells. Wow. Right? Going back that way. So that's how I connect the integration of food, science, and support. You know, that's what White Iris is really about: the food, the science, and the support, because they're all three needed to help balance the body.
Wow, that, you know, I've never heard it quite that way as you're talking about, you know, food being energy. You know, it makes total sense, you know, but that's why God has given you this assignment to do that, because this is really, really resonating with my soul, and it just making me even think more. You know, after this, I'm probably going to go clean out my closet, and get that healthy food in here. And I neglected to mention, not only is Lauren a beautiful spirit, a beautiful soul, a transformational coach, but she's also a mommy. She has a beautiful, beautiful little girl and a wonderful husband. And she's actually in this business with her mother-in-law. You know, and they're working together, which that alone, I'm sure, blows people's mind, because that you don't hear that often, where mother-in-law and daughter-in-law can work so closely together and do such great work. So what would you say, Lauren, is your passion and your purpose in life? Like, what is that assignment? What's that thing that keeps you up at night, that wakes you up in the middle of the night, that you're like, you know what? I have to do this. This is what I was created to do. What is that for you?
You know, it's interesting, because the question that you had earlier about my past is kind of connected definitely to this piece that you're asking. Mission and purpose for me are the same. And I believe that I'm a servant here to preach and teach and bring hope to people, right? And going in line with that same hope, it's important for me to know that I have something valuable to contribute to people as well, to bring them hope that not all is lost with their health and their wellness. Not all is lost when they're in that deep state of despair and feel like there's nowhere to turn. There's always the ability to come back when you hit rock bottom. And sometimes we need to hit that rock bottom for some people in order to really recognize, I never want to feel this way again, you know? And I had that feeling many times, where it's a feeling that you really want to just give up at such a young age. It's how much further can the body go? How much more pain can someone endure before you hit that breaking point? And I started to recognize that the way my thoughts was really a vicious cycle of, how much more could I take before I break? How much more could I take before we break? And we hear women saying this.
Yeah.
And they're waiting almost for that breaking moment instead of being able to be proactive in preventing or supporting from not getting to that point of that breaking moment. Wow. And my past has a lot to do with how I'm passionate about who I am and what I do and being a servant to others, you know. And I used to hear that being a servant or being of service is low, you know, or, you know, it's not credible, you know, it doesn't have value. And when we think of servants, we think of peasants, we think of sometimes they're beneath us. And I had to go through this whole transformation and realigning my thoughts, because there's a lot of people out there that will fill your head with who you're not. Wow. Right? And I had to filter through a lot of that and really recognize and come back to who I am. And being a true servant meant being humble, you know, being understanding, being compassionate. And I think the greatest servant of all was Jesus, who walked this earth, right? He set the model, he set the example. So my faith does come in and modeling that and really truly wanting to be an example in that way, where love, compassion, tenderness are all integrated in our coaching that we do as well. I believe it's important to understand what the other person is going through. And I'm not saying I understand all my clients and where they are at, but I have an idea of what it's like to be frustrated, to be stuck. And coming from a family of genetics where obesity, cancer, you know, I reached a point in my younger years where I was 18, 19 and had kidney masses and blood pressure that was 150 over 110. And I started to realize that that servant that I wanted to be was an overdrive. Yeah. So now we're talking about an unhealthy balance of just giving, and never really refilling myself. And that unhealthy balance really had me living for everybody else and not really asking myself, what do I need? You know, what do I need to give back as well to myself to fill my cup to where I can see who I am as valuable instead of just feeling like empty, really. Yeah. And I think constantly as a younger girl, I wanted to help. I wanted to do something, but there wasn't enough positive energy coming in for me. And I left myself very drained, right? And I think that left me sick, that left me emotionally distraught. You know, I'm one of 5, and I feel for my family every day. And I try to model and set the example as well for them, to show them truly what else is possible. I remember there was a brief time where me and my brothers and sisters were separated. We actually went into foster home for a period of time. And I thought, you know, what are people going to think of us? Wow. Right? To uphold this image of health, integrity, and all of this, and now to have it just all fall apart. And I looked at my mother that day, and I knew that I never wanted to have my children be in that position, and I never wanted to feel the way she felt. And my heart really went out to her that day, to have this woman who was just caught in this vicious cycle of generation after generation, just not really knowing what they needed, not really knowing what they deserved, not really knowing the worth of a woman. Yeah. You know, and to be that stronghold. And my mother was very strong, and she did what she could in the situations. But those situations have allowed me to have the compassion that I do for others.
Wow. I just thank you. I thank you for your transparency and your authenticity, because I believe that in this day and age, that's what we need. You know, we need that truth. We need to be able to see that with all that you're doing and the great work that you're doing out here in the world, yet you're still a woman, right? And yet you have a past and you have pains that you could easily, I often tell people when I'm working with them or I'm speaking, you know, there came a point in my life, and this sounds like exactly what you did, where I had to turn those, I used to use my pains as crutches to keep me, you know, to hold me up. It was like my support system. Like, well, I can't I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. But now I've used all of those as stairs. So every hurt, every pain, it's a ladder, it's a stair. It helps me get to the next level and the next level and the next level. And truly, like you, I have turned every single trial into a treasure, because in order to tell someone, no, I get it, I understand, and I know why you're doing the things that you're doing, at some point you have to have felt it within your own self, right? And so I thank you. I thank you for sharing that. And I want to know how, you know, we see women, especially in the field that we work in, where one of two things happen. So either because of your past and because of the pain, you stay stuck. And so the first, I guess this is a two-part question. The first part of it is how hindering or how detrimental is it staying stuck in your past? And then on the other hand, we see women that because of their past and because of their pain, they're go, 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 go. And they don't take time to just be and to just feel.
I love your questions. It is so thought-provoking, and I'll be sure to stay on topic here, because we're getting into so much stuff that like has uncovered to the surface, and I've never shared with anybody publicly about some of these things. You know, I've shared with some other stuff, but the foster care, because of the shame, or, you know, what has happened, and bringing shame upon the family. And that's been a big part, right? But how can I help others if I'm not transparent like you talked? But I really felt that piece was needed to be shared for whatever reason. But ask me the question again. I'm sorry.
So
The two-part question.
I just feel God like all throughout this. So this is good. This is really good. How detrimental is it holding on to your past? How does that hinder you? And then on the flip side, how detrimental is it when you don't feel it? When you just, you know, there's some women that are in our field, or that, you know, and they just go, 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 and they don't take time to just be and to feel that pain.
So how detrimental is it? Extremely, because we get so hardwired to feel these feelings of distraught and despair, and we start to believe that those are our identities. You know, and psychologists have even gone into the science of what happens for triggers of constant pain. And when you start to identify with this, you start to create the synapses in the brain waves that are hardwired to want to feel that pain.
Wow.
So you have this inability in some cases to not let go, because it's a believed identity, for one, and two, because the way the brain has been wired, you actually get a sense of exhilaration or high or knowing. That's how you feel.
Wow.
Right? You actually feel alive and know you're existing to go to these places of extreme.
Wow.
And a lot of times that creates a very impulsive behaviors for some, right? But just sticking to that hard wiring, it's just this really vicious cycle. And when we're not able to let go, we're harboring in the past, and we're constantly reminded of those experiences or those events. So instead of thinking, how can I support this event? What can I learn from this? It's usually, why me? Why me? Yes. And the way the subconscious works is it's 10 times faster than actually our dialogue. And it can go on ahead and create that answer. And you don't even realize it, that the brain is already rationalizing why you are where you are. Whether I'm fat, I'm not worth it. I'm ugly. I don't deserve this man, or I'm always going to be treated like a dog. I deserve to be beat. My mother was beat. My sisters were beat. It's just tradition. It's culture. For whatever reason, we begin to rationalize. And the deeper that we dig ourselves in those holes is that the more we are ingrained to believe that this is our perceived reality that will continue. And this vicious cycle we will teach our children.
Wow. Whew, that is some heavy stuff, and it is so good. It is so, I am like beyond blessed that you're coming and you're blessing the community with this knowledge, because there's so many women that get stuck in that, in that chaos. I've had women that I've worked with that believe that, well, if he's not hitting me or if he's not cheating on me, he doesn't truly love me. And it goes back to their childhood, and this is what they've seen. So it sounds like what you're saying is this chaos can be a part of our genetic code, a part of our DNA. And we have to do work to change that blueprint, to change those cultural blueprints, to change that genetic blueprint. So I kind of want to, because we're on this topic, I want to go into, well, no, we're there. Let's talk about, so I wanted to say what are some steps that a person can take, but we'll save those questions for last. Let's talk about self-love and self-acceptance, because if you have had some of these things that happened to us, so I too was removed from the home, and it took years for me to believe that I was enough or I was valuable, and it's funny because my kids, they think I'm crazy, and I tell them, yeah, I am crazy. I'm a little crazy, right? But I have on all the mirrors in my bathroom, I have it written, I am enough. I am enough, because I have to constantly remind myself, because that genetic code, that little girl tries to rise up sometimes and believe that I'm not enough. So I have to, it's cognitive dissonance, right? So it's neural linguistic training that I'm telling my brain, no, Tamika, you are enough. But we look at self-love and self-acceptance, especially, I believe in America, we believe that it's getting your hair done, getting your nails done, dressing nice, and that's part of it. But true self-love and self-acceptance goes into what we eat, how we treat our body. So how important are those things? How important are self-love and self-acceptance and doing this work and releasing the past?
It's critical. I mean, there's so many dynamics that go into creating self-love for yourself. But I think the first thing is really awareness in how you feel. And part of that self-love is acknowledging how you feel, even if those feelings are negative, even if those feelings are in deep despair. Yeah. It's important to acknowledge where we are in order to know where we are going. Some people will say, well, that's a two-part caveat, because how can you have self-acceptance for where you are and still want to be somewhere else? And it's not that you want to be somewhere else, but you are gradually working on yourself with those goals in mind. But self-acceptance doesn't mean accepting you exactly where you are and not willing to make any gradual shifts or changes. So I hear that a lot. And then when we talk about self-love, and me and Violet talked about this, we actually did an interview on it. And it was so fitting because, like you said, everything is more the aesthetics. Well, self-love is getting my pedicure, or self-love is getting my hair done. And yes, those are important pieces, but really going deeper into what that self-love is seeing what else does your soul really need? What is your body oozing for? What is it lacking? What is it calling for? And absolutely, nutrition is number one on the self-love, because how long can you go eating a calorie deficient diet, right, where you're in a deficit? How long can your brain be running on positive thoughts, for one thing? How long can you produce the energy that you need to move, to have that cognitive function? Everything in the body works on enzymes, amino acids. And where do we get that? It's not created from the air, right? And this is another point that people talk about, oh, the self-love and just meditation and all of that is great, but there's no amount of meditation that are going to tangibly create in your body the nutrition and the amino acids. You know, it's not like we can sit here and meditate. I'm gonna, you know, have all the essential amino acids created in my body. It doesn't work that way, right? It'd be nice if it was. So, you know, but the self-love piece, it needs to be hand in hand with what we're putting into our bodies, because that's when we're the most vibrant, we're the most energetic, because we're sharing that energy with nutrition and cleansing the body. So these toxic thoughts, these toxic chemicals that are coming in to interrupt that positive energy, basically, we can combat that. We can battle that properly to where it can help to basically neutralize, to where you're not at a place where the negative energy from chemicals and toxins and thoughts and all of that are overriding in your body and causing your metabolism to slow down, causing you to have weight gain, causing you to have fatigue, right? Over a period of time, eventually, if you're not eating healthy and seeing those vibrant foods, you stop to look vibrant, right? So the foods that we eat add the vibrant and the energy that we need. If you're eating processed foods all the time, I guarantee you the plumbing system is going to get backed up at some point in time. And how long can you feel good?
Yeah, man, that's so good. You know, I as you were speaking, I just kept hearing in my spirit, you know, we're mind, body, and soul. And so often, you know, we know to meditate, we know to pray, you know, we have these practices. We know that we need to think positive and do all those things, you know, for our mind and read, but we neglect our body like so often. We neglect listening to our body. That's one thing that I really appreciate about you, is you often share, you know, videos and different things about listening to your body and really being intentional. And I remember when we talked over a year ago, or nearly a year ago, I was struggling with sugars. Like I would crave sugars. And that was one of the first things that you asked me is, well, what does your body need? Like, what do you need? And so I had to really stop and think, because I never did that. I never thought like, well, what do I need? And it was something completely not even food related, right? That my body needed. And that totally transformed the way I thought and the way, you know, stopping and listening to my body. So your question, the answer to your question was so beautifully put. I totally appreciate and honor you once again. So, with all the content that you've provided tonight, and kind of piggybacking off of the thought that we are mind, body, and soul, what are 3 things that women, men, the audience listening, what are 3 things that they can start implementing today to release their past, to start living their passion, and to really have self-love and holistic self-love and self-acceptance?
I would say the first thing that's really helped me is stop comparing. Stop comparing yourself to others. Stop comparing yourself to your mother. Stop comparing yourself to your sister. You are where you are, and you have to take the means to go where you're going to go.
Yes.
You know, and nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody else is going to be able to walk in your shoes and make the progress and put forth the effort. It's not going to happen. And a lot of times, coming from these backgrounds, it's almost like it can go the other way, where we feel like we have been in so much pain. I'm just waiting for somebody to give me another handout, you know. And there was a period of time that I kind of thought that I was like, just somebody's going to take me under their wing and just save me, teach me everything, and just save me. And one thing I have to say is, you got to save yourself.
Yes.
You got to really save yourself. Stop comparing and really save yourself.
Yes.
Number 2 is, don't use your past as an excuse. You know, don't use your past as the means to rationalize, right, why you can't go where you're going to go. Start being creative and listening to what your body needs, and seeing what, besides just the self-love and all that, what other energy are you able to feed into your body? Is it music? Is it meditation? Is it Bible reading? You know, who inspires you?
Yeah.
One thing that I tell my clients is there's got to be, even from the people from the worst of the worst, there's got to be at least one person that has shown interest in you and let you know you are special. And I tell them to focus on that person and magnify that tenfold, tenfold, to understand how precious we truly are. There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about you are worth more than many sparrows, but yet don't the birds eat? So the birds are provided with food. They don't have to. So how much more resources do we have that we're not really peering into? We're not being aware.
Yes.
You know? So that's number 2. Number 3, self-love, self-discovery is great. But accepting where you are, whether you're 50, 60, 70 pounds, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. And, you know, saying I'm going to do it later. You know, even if someone doesn't work with me, I tell them, I said, please, for the health of your body, because we hear so many times that blood work is fine and the next week or month they die of a heart attack. And I've had clients come to me who are 300 pounds looking to transform their life, and they're still going to do the weight loss and detox and everything, but what comes out of their mouth surprised me, because it goes, but my blood work's fine, you know. So, you know, I really don't know why I'm doing this other than the weight loss, because I'm healthy.
Wow.
You know, so the blood work is a snapshot of what's going on in the moment, but there's so much that mankind doesn't understand about the body. But if physically you are feeling tired, you are feeling lethargic, you are feeling fatigued, you are not sleeping, you are having low libido, you are irritable, frustrated on a continuous basis, and they're telling you, the medical professions or whatever it is, there's nothing wrong with you. Maybe blood work wise there may be nothing, but it doesn't mean you don't need to support your emotional, your spiritual, or your physical well-being. So I want you to listen to your body. You are the best test. And that's really what I have to say. When you start to become aware and really in tune with what your body needs, there's nobody that can tell you how you feel or what you really need to do moving forward. You have the answers. And part of our programs is helping our clients really tap into that. And I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I have a really great PDF I'd love to share with everybody called Fit, Fierce, and Fabulous, and some recipes, some raw treats, just to help with those sugar cravings and stuff like that, and eat healthy and create more energy. So I'd love to release that to you, Tamika, for your tribe.
Yes, thank you so much. That's actually what I was going to ask you, if you had anything additional that you wanted to share. And fit, what does it say it again? Fit?
It's how to be fit, fierce, and fabulous.
I love it. I love it. Yes. So the PDF for Fit, Fierce, and Fabulous will be at the bottom of this video, and all Lauren's contact information, which I'm going to ask her to share with you right now, and to share any programs that she had. You heard it from the expert. She just released 3 steps that can help you truly become free. If you start implementing these today, these are things that you can do. Stop comparing yourself. I know it's hard. I know, as women, it's something that we've been conditioned to do. But if you just love yourself where you're at, stop comparing yourself and save yourself. My goodness. One of my role models, Lisa Nichols, she says that we are our own rescue. You have to be your own rescue. Yes. Stop looking for that handout. Stop comparing yourself, and don't use your past. It's time out to use your past as excuses. Turn every single trial, every hurt, every pain, everything that you've been through, turn that into a treasure. You never know the things that you went through were not for you. You only experienced them in that time that you were going through them. But once they happen, now it's for you to release to someone else to show them that you can get through it. And lastly, accept where you're at. Accept where you're at, and just, you have to be real. Let's keep it 100. Be real, accept where you're at, and do the work to get into action to be free from that hurt, that pain, and all those things that are maybe keeping you overweight or underweight, whatever your issue may be. So Lauren, again, I just feel the Spirit of God. I'm sorry for those of you that are not religious, but are not even religious, but spiritual, faith-based. You guys already know me. This is who I am, and I've stopped fighting it. So I am going to speak the way God intended for me to speak. And that's truly part of me living my truth and being free and just truly being who I am. So Lauren, tell the tribe, you said something earlier in the broadcast about us connecting. And I believe connection and collaboration are key. I also believe that in order for us to grow, we must do more things like this. And I know that there's women that are listening to this broadcast that are thinking, how do I get in contact with her? I need help. There's certain things that I need to, I want to release the cravings of sugar. I want to release weight. I want to, so I know that they're out there. How can they get in contact with you?
Well, it's funny you said release the cravings, because our new opt-in that we're putting up actually next week is going to be what's eating you. And what's eating you is focusing on a sugar craving handout, how to master the cravings. And sometimes we think it's just sugar, but it's actually a lot of other different things. And in that handout, there is going to be different cravings that you may be having, is going to tell you what you're actually deficient in nutritional.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I'm getting that.
So you can reach us at whiteiristc.com. We have an ultimate weight balance method that we're doing on a 90-day program. We do the one-to-one clients. We're actually getting open up this week with a group program to make it more affordable and also more effective to reach more people, because our time is limited with just the one-to-one. And, that's going to be on a weekly basis that we'll be having our weekly calls for support, sending emails, and really walking them through this 3-step process that we do with proper detoxification, the weight loss, and then after that to up level yourself. So if you have 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds on you, you're not likely to go on ahead and want to go run a marathon, right? But if that's a goal in the near future, taking the steps necessary to balance your body first, supporting yourself nutritionally, that goal, I can tell you, fitness-wise, physical-wise, is possible. And we help you get clear on what your goals really are.
Awesome.
And make them happen, right?
Make them happen. Do the work. So all of the information of how to get in contact with Lauren will be at the bottom of this video. Go take advantage of this. Group programs, it's so amazing that the power of groups. I love it, love it, love it. Get in contact with her. Go find her. Also her social media sites where you can follow her and all that. That will also be at the bottom of this video. Lauren, I love you. I thank you so much. Are there any last words to the community?
This is our time. There's no more waiting. You've anticipated enough to what your vision is, to what your dream is. Let's not make it a dream anymore, right? Let's start to make life a reality and being fulfilled the way we deserve to, the way we want our children to. And one thing I say, and having my little girl, she's 3 years old, Irissa, and her name actually means flower and rainbow in Greek. And she's many different cultures, but it also means messenger.
Wow.
And what I see with her is I'm creating a legacy. I'm creating a legacy from women who believe to be broken. And I was once feeling to be that broken woman. And I'm here to tell you there's nothing to fix. You're not broken. You're not broken.
And so it is. I love you, ladies, so, so very much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great night and be free. Good night.
Bye.